Find the derivative of f of t equals to 4t plus 3 times t squared minus t plus 2. A, by using the product rule. B, by taking the product first and differentiating the result. Part A, f of t is the product of two functions. The first, 4t plus 3. The second, t squared minus t plus 2. The derivative, f prime of t, will be found by the derivative of the first, 4t plus 3, will take the derivative of the 4t. Constant times t will give us the constant, 4. The derivative of the constant with no t, the plus 3, will be a 0. Derivative of the first times the second left alone, write it down exactly as we see it, plus the first left alone, 4t plus 3, times the derivative of the second. The first term of the second, t squared, the derivative will be a power rule. Bring the 2 down to t to the 2 minus 1, which is t to the 1. The derivative of the second term, negative t, constant times t, will be the constant, negative 1. The derivative of the third term, a constant with no t, is a 0. Now we can expand by distributing the 4 and then FOILing out the 4t plus 3 and the 2t minus 1 and combine like terms. F prime of t will equal 4t squared minus 4t plus 8 plus, FOILing this out, 4t times 2t is 8t squared, that's the first. 4t times negative 1, negative 4t, that's the outside. 3 times 2t plus 6t, that's the inside. And then 3 times negative 1, or negative 3, that's the last. Let's combine like terms together. There's two t squared terms, a 4 and an 8. 4 plus 8 is 12, t squared. There's a total of 3 t terms. There's a negative 4t, another negative 4t, that's negative 8t, plus a 6t. Negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2t. And then we have two constants. We have a positive 8 and a negative 3. 8 minus 3 is a 5. Now another option for f of t is to take the product first, if possible, and it is possible here, by FOILing this out. We actually have 2 terms in the first expression, 4t plus 3, and 3 terms in the second expression, t squared minus t plus 2. 2 terms times 3 terms will give us 6 terms. To produce the 6 terms, we're going to take this first, in the first expression, the 4t, and multiply it times each of the 3 terms in the second expression. That will give us 4t times t squared is 4t cubed. 4t times a negative t is a negative 4t squared. And then 4t times a 2 is a plus 8t. To produce the other 3 terms, we're going to take the 3 and distribute it in to each of the terms in the second expression. That will give us a plus 3t squared, a minus 3t, and a plus 6. Let's combine like terms together. There's only one t cubed term, 4t cubed. There's 2 t squared terms. We have a negative 4 t squared and a plus 3 t squared. Negative 4 plus 3 is a negative 1 t squared. There's 2 t terms. There's an 8t and a negative 3t. 8 minus 3 is a 5t. And then we have a constant plus 6. Now that we've taken the product, we can find the derivative by taking the derivative of each of these terms and adding or subtracting the results, since they are now adding or subtracting together with each other. Each derivative can be done separately. So f prime of t will be the derivative of the first term. That's going to be the power rule. So 4 times 3, subtract 1 from the power, 3 minus 1 is the t squared. The next term is also a power rule. We'll bring the 2 down times the negative, so negative 2, and then t to the 2 minus 1, t to the 1. The next term is a constant times t, 5 times t. The derivative will be the constant, which is just a plus 5. And then the last term is a constant with no t. The derivative of that will be a 0. The first term, 4 times 3, is a 12, so we'll have 12t squared minus 2t plus 5. And if you look, that perfectly matches the result that we had in A. The method doesn't matter. You should get the same result for the derivative here.